Yeah, it's going to take a minute.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Laura Dietrich.
And I'm Frank Dietrich.
And tonight we're going to share a family favorite recipe of how to make a plant-based beer cheese. And this recipe actually is one that I grew up with. My mom and dad made this beer cheese and we'd serve it around the holidays. And I wanted to share with you the original ingredients because I think it's kind of interesting. It had a pound of cheddar cheese, a pound of Swiss cheese, a clove of garlic, some dry mustard, some Worcestershire sauce, and then some beer. So the recipe we're making tonight is slightly different. And how we came about this is Frank started to make beer or plant-based cheeses, nut-based cheeses a year or so ago. Yes. And he got really good at it, and we were enjoying them. And I said, you know, I had a cheese that I loved growing up with, and it was beer cheese. Do you think you could make it? So I gave him the recipe, and he started playing around with it. And the one you see on your screen is the one we're going to be making tonight. And if you notice, it's got a lot of the same components. It's got the dry mustard and the garlic and the Worcestershire sauce. But the difference is that we used nuts, and we'll talk about the nuts we used in just a minute. And then we also added some pimentos, which gives it that nice cheesy color. So with that being said, we're going to start cooking.
Okay, so and we've made this a couple different ways. We've made them with raw almonds, which we buy from Costco.
Fine, that's the best price.
And we also, tonight we're going to make them out of raw cashews. And cashews are a little bit easier as far as the creaminess to put together. They absorb the liquid more, and it seems like if you have a regular blender, it just comes out more consistent and creamy. We're going to use a Vitamix.
And we buy ours from Trader Joe's. We always buy, you want to make sure you buy raw cashews because they will absorb the liquid better. We also buy the pieces because we're cooking with them anyways and they're less expensive. But if we did use the almonds, Frank, you use them raw or do you buy them toasted?
We always use raw.
So no matter what nut you choose to use, you want to use raw.
And the one big thing that I've found is if you use the almonds, you have to use a lot more liquid than you do with the raw cashews. The cashews absorb the liquid really well. The almonds you have to soak much longer and also use something like a Vitamix to get it creamy if that's what the texture you'd like.
So if you don't, so just in case, and we're going to use cashews, but if for some reason you do the almonds, just keep in mind that you really need something like a Vitamix, and if you don't do that, you'll have a kind of a grittier consistency.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's get started.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with the cashews, and we actually soak the cashews in beer for
about half a can.
6 hours.
Yeah, and I just basically put enough beer so that it covered the top of it.
And you can see it's soaked up. There's not a lot of beer left. And again, the beer is your choice. I like IPA, so I use a Sierra Nevada IPA, and it's going to have a kind of a bittery IPA flavor, just like the beer. You can use a stout, a porter. You can use a light beer if you want less beer flavor, but that's totally up to you and your preference. But again,
so if I used a stout or a porter, what would that do?
It's going to give it a more malty beer flavor, probably a more heavier beer flavor than something like a light beer. This will give you more of a bitter IPA flavor, and again, it's not going to be super strong because you got a lot. Some of the ingredients are going to take up the flavors, but still, you can.
Hey guys, we seem to be having a little technical difficulty.
Oh, okay.
People are saying, "Are you sideways?" The camera is sideways, but I'm not sure why it's not showing up sideways.
Huh.
Oh, that's interesting. So,
I see you sideways on the camera.
So maybe we need to take the camera
But they're
out.
saying that are you? So I don't know.
Okay.
You want to just try holding your hand and use it the other way?
Yeah, we can try it that way.
Yeah,
This is real life live.
Yeah. Okay.
True Facebook Live.
So maybe switch it the other way.
How does that work?
How is it now?
The camera's on awkward position, guys. The comments are covering the screen. So how do we get rid of the comments on the screen?
I don't know.
Let's see. We haven't come, obviously.
Oh, it says you can't turn your phone while recording.
Yes,
Oh.
we did know that.
So
let me find out.
So are they seeing that?
Yes, evidently.
See, somebody said perfect.
Now is it perfect now?
Great now? Perfect. All righty.
Okay,
Good.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah, we'll just use it without. Okay, so
Okay.
let's get back into it. And
Yep, so you got your nuts. Go ahead and
okay,
start
so
from there.
the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strain the liquid out of the nuts. Put it in a strainer. And then we're just going to start adding things to the Vitamix. All our ingredients. Okay, so
So you got the cashews in. What
the
else
next
are you going to
thing,
add?
the next thing is, and I use this out of Laura's mom's recipe, a little bit of dry mustard, and I think I put in about
Okay, hold on just a second.
1 teaspoon.
Evidently, we're back to being wrong again.
Are we okay now?
Still sideways. He fixed it, then she put it back sideways.
Oh, I wish I had locked my screen. I don't know.
How's that?
Is that better? Now it's good. All right.
Okay.
I don't get it. But
All right.
Okay, so we're going to use 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. That comes from the original recipe that Laura's mom had put together. One of the things we do to instead of cheese, we use nutritional yeast for a little cheesy flavor. So we're actually going to add about 1 cup of nutritional yeast.
You can use less if you'd like. It's completely up to you. So if you feel more comfortable using a 1/2 cup, you can do that.
So it's not working?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Jean's doing a great job.
Okay, the next thing is pimentos. We're going to have 3/4 cup pimentos. And you can see I'm just going to spoon this out because there's a lot of liquid in here that when we poured that jar out. So we'll add more liquid at the end, but I'm going to just try to get as many just the pimentos as possible and leave the liquid in here.
One thing I want to talk about the pimentos is that one of the times Frank was making cheese, we couldn't find pimentos. And the pimentos we buy, we just get at our local grocery store. This is a Meyer brand. It's really inexpensive. But I couldn't find the pimentos, so I bought a jar of olives with green olives that had a whole bunch of pimentos at the bottom, and I thought, well, that's good enough. But what I found is that when he did it, that the olives were way saltier, and so when we made the cheese was too salty to eat. So make sure you really take the time to find the pimentos. They're right in the olives and the pickles section.
Kind of see it's from Myers.
Yep, so they're very, very inexpensive. They're not a specialty product.
The next thing that we add is 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, I'm sorry. So we'll add that. And the last thing is some vegan Worcestershire sauce, about 2 tablespoons of vegan Worcestershire sauce. So you're going to put that all in a blender. And again,
Got that?
blend it to the consistency you like. Kind of push it down and get it. Let it go nice.
Trying to talk about it when it's talk about it. Okay, so now you guys, do you see how it's kind of having a harder time blending? So Frank has a choice. We can put in a little bit of pimento juice, or we can put in a little bit of beer. What do you think? What do you?
And my preference is the beer.
Okay, so his preference. So I recommend you do it 1 tablespoon at a time, because you can always add more liquid, but you can never take that liquid out. So I'm going to start with a tablespoon of beer. Should I put 2?
Put 2.
Okay, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of beer in. You could use the pimento juice, you could use water, you could use whatever you want.
Okay, so we'll get back at it.
Get back out of here.
Basically, I just kind of push it down, get it right there, just try to get it smooth as possible.
Okay, so now we're going to do this, and this is how, when you make something thick like this in the Vitamix, this is really common that you have to kind of adjust it and start it. And when I did my test case, I actually used 4 tablespoons. So I'm going to put a 1 tablespoon of the pimento juice, since we have it, and let's see how it goes from there. That looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's getting smoother. It's still thick.
So just be patient. Just recognize this is part of the process. Is just getting the ingredients down to the blades is really what you're trying to do.
Okay, so we're gonna go and blend one more time.
Okay, so we're going to take a look, and we'll show you what it looks like. How's it look? Looks pretty good, according to Frank. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to bring it right over here for you to take a look. You can see it's nice and creamy. If you set this into your fridge, it'll kind of get a little bit thicker, and some of the flavors will gel. This is our finished product that we like to eat, and we're going to give it a taste and see how it turns out. You can see it's kind of got a beer cheese consistency that you get at a restaurant. 1 second. And the way we like to eat our beer cheese
This with a little glass of wine.
with a glass of red wine. So let's give it a shot.
Not bad.
There you go.
So enjoy. Hope
Enjoy. Bon appetit. Yes.